Okay, so in set 3, Call of the Mountain, Apprehend was a card that was printed, which was kind of sweet. So Apprehend here is a slow spell, so you can only play it not during combat, and your opponent gets a chance to respond to it. It stuns an enemy, so it can't attack or block. And then if you control the champion Darius, you get to rally, which means you gain an attack token if you don't currently have one. So this was a build around submission for Darius plus rally. And it felt like if we were going to play a 2-mana stun something card for its synergy with Darius, moving into playing Yasuo, the champion that cares specifically about stunning things, felt like a very natural direction to go. So Yasuo, good stat line champion here, 4/4 quick attack for 4. He levels when you've stunned or recalled 5 units. And then whenever you stun or recall a unit, he damages it. And then his leveled mode's a little bit bigger and he strikes things when you stun or recall them. So the basic idea here is Darius is an aggressively slanted champion, top end of your curve, 6/5 with Overwhelm. That gets bigger when the opponent's Nexus has 10 life or less as a finisher. So what I went with, since we were trying to play an Ionia aggressive deck, is kind of a go wide aggressive plan. So House Spider's a card that's really good at going wide. It's a 2/2 for 2 that also summons a 1/1. We've got Highwayman, who summons a Brigade alongside him, so another 2 bodies in a single card. These pair well with Greenglade Duo, which gets bigger whenever you summon an ally. These pair well with Keeper of the Mask, which gives all of your allies 1 extra attack for the round. And then, keeping on the kind of stun theme, Decisive Maneuvers was a card that was, this is a set 3 card, right? Is this expansion on the cards anywhere? I think this was a call card. Anyway, it was on theme, stun something, and then gives all your allies 2 attacks. This, again, plays well with our go wide plan. So, let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this. We'll maybe make some adjustments as we go, and see how it feels. Are there decks that win by turn 5 in Runeterra? There are decks where if you don't interact with them at all, they can Goldfish turn 5 kills, yes. Generally speaking, the average game of Runeterra tends to be interactive enough that that's not something that happens. So I don't have any 1-drops here. We are attacking on odds. I have the attack token, so we're just going to have to pass back to start.
I must get out of here.
I'll go ahead and play Greenglade Duo out here. Greenglade is elusive, so it can only be blocked by other elusive units. Good at pushing damage, assuming it lives. Yeah, their archetype plays a lot of deal 1s. They're playing Braum Anivia here with Freljord and Shadow Isle, so very likely a control deck here.
We don't want any trouble.
These old eyes still see far.
My Spooky Spider is fearsome, so it can only be blocked by things with 3+ power. So, this is a free attack in because they don't have any blocks. I declare attackers, they declare blockers, similar to Magic. Only blocking is only 1/1. Damage is persistent across turns in this game, so these chump blocks here aren't nearly as bad in Runeterra as they are in Magic.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah, this is definitely a matchup where it feels like we're probably going to have some wrong half problem going on.
Trying to feed my family.
Excuse me. Their deck is, it doesn't have a ton of units in it, most likely, I'd imagine.
Go with the takes me. That egg.
Did it move? I think this card's super playable and likely underplayed, so Fey Guide, when it comes into play, it grants an ally elusive. And remember, grant is a permanent bonus. So when this happens, this is permanently elusive now. They could have something like a Vengeance here. That's sad, but not the end of the world. Still can't block my Fearsome, which is nice. One thing you'll note here is that if you're one of my new folks hanging out from the Magic segment, is my mana here that I don't use doesn't just disappear. So I'm going to hit end round, and this one unused mana is going to get added to this other one down here in my spell mana bank. So this is mana that just kind of hangs out until I utilize it.
My axe is ready.
I must get out of here.
Scurry, weakling.
And then that spell mana is going to be super useful here. I get to go ahead and apprehend this to stun their Anivia and then rally. So I'm going to get an attack token even though it was their turn.
Smart knows the way.
Please, I have connections.
See, my Darius is going to level up here. Because their Nexus went below 10. Now, I can play units before attacking if I want. However, if I play units before attacking, my opponent also gets to play units before attacking. That being said, my opponent's deck also has a lot of spells in it, right? Like we saw Vengeance happen earlier to kill my Yasuo. So if I start by attacking, my opponent could have a spell and still interact with my board. So there's a little bit of give and take as to whether or not I want to start my turn by attacking or not. They could have Icequake. Icequake doesn't really matter, right? Like this would still be attacking for 7, which is fine. They don't have Ruination mana to kill the board. I think I'm going to play Yasuo out here.
Always by my side.
Let's see what they do. Why is Icequake a blowout? Can someone explain to me why we think Icequake's a blowout?
It never gets any lighter.
I protect this place. Ever watchful.
So their champion here is a Phoenix. It makes an egg when it dies. And then at the start of the round, if my opponent is enlightened, meaning they have 10 mana, the Phoenix comes back. I'm going to go ahead and stun the egg, which means Yasuo triggers to deal 2 to it. They're electing to save the egg, which is fine. I'm going to play out this other Darius here.
I see every move.
I'm going to block with this rather than this. Their archetype sometimes plays a deal 2 to everything.
Mine is the
And I'd prefer not to have Yasuo die to the deal 2 to everything. Yep, there's the avalanche. So now my opponent has 10 mana available. So if I deploy a unit here, my opponent could Ruination me, which I would not care to have happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and start my turn by attacking. I don't mind people offering up lines of play, so long as they also offer up justifications of why that line of play is ideal. So if I concussive palm this, it dies and then I overwhelm them, right? And then this decimate's gonna kill them. The Darius rally there was really instrumental in this game win, right? Like being able to take an attack with apprehend on their turn was incredible. On that turn 6 when we played him out. It's good first game. Bonus deck, bit of an off-meta control deck. Interested to see how it feels when we queue into some of the more powerful established things. They're anything like the legend rule in this game, kinda. So the champion spells, the cards that level up, when you draw a second copy of a champion that you have in your hand, the champion turns into a spell. So actually, that Decimate that I had at the end there, it said Darius's Decimate, that was actually a second copy of my champion, but instead of just being a dead legendary card, it turned into a spell that I could cast, which shuffles a Darius back into my deck. My opponent is playing Twisted Fate Jinx, which is probably something aggressive. I think I'm gonna mulligan in these top end cards, look for some other lower things on my curve, I think. The rarity on Apprehend. This is a rare. So it's a 30-cent card. For people that haven't experienced the Runeterra economy, this card is a rare, which means if you're not free to play and you want to buy it outright, it costs 30 cents. Champions are the most expensive card type in the game. They cost $3 at most. If you're someone who wails a little bit in these games and you buy $100 worth of coins at a time, you get a bonus, which makes champions cost $2.70 or so. This game has both the best pay-to-play economy and the best free-to-play economy of any digital card game out there.
Anything else? Let's move.
I don't think I want to attack these into their 3-2 here. This is elusive, so they can't block it. They could have like a Mystic Shot here or get excited to kill it, though. Get excited and they're figuring out what to discard. Just a Mystic Shot, sure.
Just you and me, Fishbones. And them.
And them. Paralyzing Bite here to stun the Jinx. The Runeterra balance team Runeterra has the most proactive balance team of any card game I've ever played. They do balance patches every 2 to 3 weeks, generally speaking, and if anything is erroneous, you don't sit there and wait 8 months for it to get fixed, or in some cases more than that. So, I'm going to go ahead and use my Concussive Palm here to stun this, because this makes me a 3-2. And then I'm going to play Fey Guide to make my 3-2 elusive so I can start attacking.
A foray into the field? How exciting. Spark and I will keep you safe.
I'm not even talking about bug fixes. I'm just talking about, like, management of their formats and, like, addressing cards that are erroneous in a timely manner. Okay, gonna have a pretty sweet series of turns here. We've got decisive maneuvers and highwaymen to go a little bit wide here. So we're gonna need to like get some stuns off next turn and then give all of our allies 2 extra attack, which is sweet.
How can I help?
What's going on, Arby? Hey, happy birthday, Declan. It's a good name. So, I'm gonna have 7 total mana next turn. I think I'm playing this
We don't want any trouble.
to go wide. We're unfortunately gonna be 1 short with my banked mana.
You walk sideways?
Boss said so.
I'm not afraid.
And just trading off a bunch of stuff here. I think so. Wall of Roots isn't busted. It's just been broken on Magic Online for 4.5 years because they don't fix their bugs in that game.
I'm on a roll. I brought my books. Hope that's all right.
My axe is ready.
Jinx leveled is very scary. You get to draw an extra card each turn, beginning of the turn, and then when you empty your hand, she creates a super mega death rocket. I already have an attack token, so rallying doesn't really accomplish much.
Move with purpose.
If I attack with these and they block here and draw a card, I end up pretty sad. That's super unfortunate. So now he's at 1,
Give 'em puppy eyes.
and they get to death rocket me. I don't think we have any. I don't think we have any lines to win here. We don't really have any hard removal in our deck. We're looking to just tempo people for the most part.
But the war rages on.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a good chance that this brew's not very good. There's a pretty specific build around that I'm not sure if the support's quite there. When we're able to get down on the board and get everything rolling together, it was fine. But when our opponent has a must-answer card, I think we're probably going to struggle. Twisted Swains. This is a mid-range control deck, usually. It's a good mulligan into. Let's go Green Glade Duo. And that can make it a little bit bigger. Hey, Precious Pet's not bad.
The Yordle here's with me.
So, Stegall, something I try not to do when building decks is I try not to just take a build around card request and shove it into an established deck that gets made worse by adding that card to it. So I don't think the old Harrowing Shells want to play this card, and I think adding this card to that deck to just calling it okay here I built the deck with the card is kind of a cop-out. So I try to avoid doing that when people submit build-arounds. I agree that on average, Apprehend is probably kind of low power level, which is why I wanted to try pairing it with Yasuo, so that way it can have more text even when I don't have Darius in play. trying to mitigate the downside this card has by playing more payoffs for it to pair with, basically, is the intention behind this configuration I've tried to put together here.
Like a fish
And
in
again,
water.
most decks that you build are not going to be competitive. That's just the reality of any card game.
You'll go no farther.
You can always type !rank in chat to find my current rank. Keep that updated.
Let's do this.
Just take the hit for 2 here. I'm gonna play Blade Twirler out and then probably apprehend this to kill it with Yasuo and power this up. Maybe just Sentry, actually. Let's just Sentry and go wide. So if they don't kill Yasuo in response here, this stun lets Yasuo kill that, which is nice.
Be nothing left when I'm done.
So these kegs make their next direct damage spell deal extra. So if they make it rain, they hit my X3, so this deals 1 at random to 3 things. It gets pumped up twice by these. Feels bad to lose this to that.
Should have sagged.
Opponent still at a nice healthy 20, which means we're still pretty far off of Darius doing a whole lot here. Although, these apprehends just got a lot better with the Darius straw, huh? Have I played Tarek Fiora? I have not.
Deal me in. Dead in their tracks. One blade, one purpose.
Says quick attack, so we can get in there.
Run while you can.
I did, Jaquan. If they release all those features that they listed before the end of the year, it sounds really sweet. Death Sand's a little unfortunate.
Dying's easy. Empire above all.
Feel like apprehend could have been if you behold the Darius. Yeah, that probably would have been fine. We might get them here.
They should thank you.
I need to add Paro in my lineup. That's really frustrating. Yeah, I think we're just dead.
Smiling.
This one might be a quick set. We'll try it. We'll try a few more, but so far not feeling particularly competitive. If the opponent hadn't had the ability to kill Darius there, we would have been able to play Swain and rally a second time, and would have been in a very good spot, honestly. Couldn't beat the second Ravens block, though, which is pretty likely for them to have since they already had a Swain in play, and that's Swain's champion spell. Whatever the other idiot's name was.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Yeah, Screeching Dragon is really good. Honestly impressed with how much better that card is than, with how much better that card ended up being than the other 5/4 Challenger. Frenzy Challenger is a super powerful keyword combination.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool ya.
Fortune favors the bold.
We'll just pass here. Probably play Yasuo next turn. We're going to want to try and hold on to 2 spell mana for the turn we play Darius. Or if we'll see them open attacks here. If they... Yeah, they're opening with both, huh? Thinking about it.
We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
I go where the road takes me.
Guns blazing.
So this does 1 to each of my things. I think I'm just doing this and stunting the bleeding. This block here prevents 3 damage from here, so I stay at 13 instead of 10. I unfortunately do not get to deal a damage to this. Or Pale Cascading to protect that, sure. Dial-Up Dragon is too slow for Yasuo. I don't think so. I think you could definitely build a Yasuo deck to be more controlling.
Ye started without me. I face my fate. Your turn.
We'll just start with attacks, see what they do. I think there's a good chance I want a Concussive Palm.
Who's ready for a show?
Deal 2 damage to an ally and 2 to the enemy nexus. Yeah, it's pretty good. So now, do I Concussive Palm this turn, or do I Darius? I think I Concussive Palm and kill something. And then we bank 3 mana, and then next turn we can Darius plus Apprehend.
Underestimate. I dare you.
You wanted wrath.
We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
Gotta go with the flow.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Maybe I'm supposed to stun this because it's the biggest.
Sail.
I see every move. This won't be a fair fight.
Want to see these moves up close?
Yeah, so there's still so many stuns off of doing anything here. Okay, do this and go to 6. If they have a Pale Cascade, we're gonna get into trouble. The problem is here, like, they're still at 15. So, like, I get to attack here, but my attack's not really accomplishing a whole lot.
Oh, heretic.
I need to, like, peel another Darius here. So I assume they're gonna sleep with the fish, put me to 4. At 5 cards in hand still. They're 1 turn off of sharking at least. I can, like, play another Highwayman and then Concussive Palm something and, like, get a good wide attack in.
My faith protects me.
Heard you're new in the area. you don't.
I think we stunned that one because it's their best blocker here. The fact that the rest of their hand was kind of low quality things is good for us though here. Well, that in our face is really scary.
It never gets any lighter.
Attack like this, keep our blockers up. I might trade their 2-1 for our 2-2, but I think I'm pretty okay with that. What's our best draw here? Just another Darius? If we draw Darius, we get Darius plus Apprehend next turn.
The guilty will bend.
Got a rock with your name on it. Raven out.
Okay, that one did not hit our face, which is a good thing. So we need to fade. They only have one card left, so like Warning Shot into Shark is like their best possible here. And if they have one of those, they have to peel the other at least. We've got that going for us.
You'll fight or you'll swim.
Devotion through battle.
Your attack is obvious. I'm trying to feed my family. Crime didn't pay.
Crime didn't pay. Just try and prevent their plunder trigger here.
Any trouble?
We hold on to this for now in case we peel Darius.
The Yordle here's with me.
Company makes the journey go faster.
If they play out a large blocker, we could just stun it. Gangplank would be a pretty scary draw. We gotta just do that and attack for 8. Jack is super good.
Some things never dull.
You cannot sway me.
Not surprised this card's seeing more play as the format matures. So this creates a slow spell at least. So like this is our last draw. We're gonna have to open on attacks next turn. Could also just die here. This is putting us to 1. Ah, the old American warning shot. The old USA warning shot. Lethal. Alright, let's try one more, huh? We'll shuffle along to some wreaths. Yes, Johnny. Yep. Feels like the ladder settled back down to a pretty good mix of things overall. For a second there, for the first week after Targon released, unsurprisingly, the ladder was an overwhelming amount of people playing the new faction. But it feels like as we've gotten a little bit further away from that, there's still Targon decks that are competitive, but it's not everything that everyone is playing, which is good.
I need just a moment.
Good balance of factions again. It says Challenger, so it can make something block it, but they don't really want to Challenger either of these.
Heard you're new in the area.
That event's at the end of the month, Rothan. So it's September 26th and the 27th. Have you played / do you like the Swain / Twisted Fate deck? Nah, I haven't really played with it. That seems fine. A lot of similar to Magic, a lot of the things that I play and people send in on this stream are things that are a little bit off the beaten path. People like Mogwai and Swim and Bruised by God especially tend to play the more spikier decks pretty consistently.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Most of my off-stream times being dedicated these days to trying to find decks for the tournaments at the end of the month. And generally speaking, I won't be able to spend enough time grinding with an established meta deck to play it well for a tournament or play it better than other people. So rather than play a deck where I know I'm going to be worse than other people in mirror matches, I'll just won't play something that'll give me mirror matches.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
No, I don't know exactly what my lineup's going to be yet, Wildnar. I think I have ideas of what 2 of my decks are, but I need to find out another deck that fits into it still.
Line up.
Big blade for a little warrior.
Underestimate me. I dare you.
What regions are open for it? I think I'm locked. I think I'm currently, I'm not going to say locked in. Leaning towards is better. I think I'm currently leaning towards Piltover, Targon, and then Demacia Freljord.
Dare you.
So probably something with Bilgewater for my third. I really like Bilgewater as a faction. If I attack with this and they have an elixir, I just get blown out. So I think I'm just passing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna send these idiots in. If they want to block these, it makes my quick attackers better down the line.
Quick.
Over there. Tread carefully.
That's true. There'll probably be some amount of Zap Spray Fins in my final lineup. Say regular Steel Tempest. Fey-Guide granting Blade Twirler elusive seems really powerful in general.
Sharp blade. Let them see me, not you.
What did we catch?
So we want to Steel Tempest, whatever this is hooking.
Mine. Watch. Learn. I'm not afraid.
That doesn't work how you want it to, friendo. This still dies, because this isn't... The non-leveled mode of Yasuo doesn't strike. It just deals 2 damage. So that still dies. So they should have frostbitten this one. How we felt about Apprian so far? It definitely kind of low power level. Not even definitely is low power level.
Everything's better with company.
That being said, stunning 2 things here could get us in with these Blade Twirlers.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
Nah, I want this to be elusive so we can just literally kill them with it. What? I mean, okay, I guess they were gonna be forced. I guess they were gonna be forced into some bad blocks there on the Blade Twirler's part. So, the Yasuo part of this deck seems okay. Fey Guide is a card that continues to be sweet. The tiny creature part of this deck, the tiny unit part of this deck, doesn't feel particularly good. Is it possible I'm supposed to be more controlling and just playing Darius Apprehend as a finisher? Like, what are the super aggressive cards are the things that are like trying to lean into being aggressive? Like, go up a Steel Tempest. Yeah, like, what if we pull the curve up? Like, maybe, I don't mind, like, the elusive blocker pushing some damage, because, like, this alone can, like, level Darius okay. And House Spider being a 2-power is, like, okay, too, I think. Like, I think I've been happy with these cards, so to speak. When we say support, do we mean like Young Witch? Is that what we're referring to when we say support? I suppose Kato's technically a support card. He's pretty funny with the overwhelm things too. He pairs nicely with Blade Twirler and my multiple bodies and my elusive things. And then what about some things to keep me from dying if we're pulling up a little bit? Culling Strike. How do you feel about this card in the format in general? There's probably enough things that this kills to be competitive, right? I don't hate Death Sand either. Stun. Yeah, Stun Mentor could be good. Where's he at? Stun the weakest enemy each turn. Let's try and pull up and see how this plays. So, I'm not a huge fan of Intimidating Roar because that card's basically useless when you don't have Yasuo out. It's really just, like, not what you're looking to do if you aren't. Swain, Twisted Fate. Mulligan looking for some of our cheaper stuff, but I keep Culling Strike. It kills both their heroes to start. Well, these are cards. Nailed it.
Hang on, Buzzball.
Hey,
Make it rain. No, make it rain. It's like Christmas morning shit. It's like Christmas. Hey, that's a good draw too.
I go where the road takes me. Deal me in.
Think I just Death Sand this. Think I hold on to the Culling Strike for now.
Life and death on the blade's edge.
Yeah, I don't want to count on Apprehend killing their Twisted Fate because of Flock.
Easy.
Nice read. So I have 7 mana next turn, plus 2 spell mana banked. I can Yasuo plus Apprehend. Just taking the tip here.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Gotta go with the flow.
Can I kill them? I could double rally here, right? Do I want to double rally here? Or do I want to get Blade Twirler down? Getting Blade Twirler down sounds kind of appealing too, right? Apprehend, or Blade Twirler first. I could play Stun Spider as an extra way to get in damage too. The Stun Spider just trades for their 2/2 though, which isn't great. I guess if they're trading that for the 2/2, it means they're not putting damage on Darius though, which is nice. All right, yeah, I think I'm talking to Stun Spider.
It never gets any lighter.
The problem with him going to 3 is he's pretty likely to die now, right? Yeah. Or Swain's ready to level at this point. Still off of leveling.
Quick footwork, fast strikes.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
We get rid of this and attack. This stun puts my Blade Twirler to a 3/3. They didn't have another flock there, which is good for us.
Pick on some of your own speed. You got legs. Use them.
Yep.
Set him off.
Destination in sight. I have my orders. Position!
I face my fate.
We're just dead, right? Yeah.
Counterattack! The battle is lost, but the
Even
war
if they're blocking there, they have a whole grip full of cards, so we're at 3. Let's give this big build one more shake before we roll on to try some Wraiths. Elise, Darius. Okay. These 3 are probably all very reasonable against something that's going to be aggressive leaning. This could be like Harrowing Darius. Gonna mulligan the Minotaur Reckoner here. It's a little slow. No turn 1 play is a good start for us. Hey, Twirler's a wonderful draw. Means our stuns as we play them will get to start advancing our board nicely.
I pull the strings. We could use a bite.
Want to see these moves up close?
There's technically a Demacia spell, or Demacia Noxious spell that like pumps attack there, but it's not very commonly played, so I think Culling Striking at least there without taking the hit is fine. I want to try and keep our life total higher. Deck doesn't really gain life back. Hey, half quarter, thanks for the 23 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Are they not an aggro deck, or is their hand just that awkward? Like, what's the deal here?
I know what lurks in the shadows.
I'm gonna go ahead and stun this now to use my resources to get my 3-2. Stunning this proactively also means they don't get to declare it as an attacker and get a Spiderling, which is nice. Hey, what's going on, BZ? Alright, so Death's Hand here is super clean, right? Yes, this is definitely an easier game to get family into. Like I can't imagine having to like stock 3 Magic Arena accounts. Whereas like this, I could very realistically tell the kids, hey, okay, you can go, you can play Runeterra, and you can like have reasonable decks to play. Here's 20 bucks. You can earn the rest. Do I want to put 3 damage on this? I feel like I don't with the Apprehend in hand. Well, maybe that's not true. This is another Darius, right? Yeah, I'm a liar. Let's attack. Alright, so let's stun that. Actually, let's get this down, right?
Think you're fast?
So that way this gets bigger when we start stunning. And then I think I actually want to Concussive Palm something else to get the other thing into play and power these up.
Underestimate. I dare you.
It might not be a good question to ask, right?
Now who's got the other hand?
I mean, when all of our synergies come together,
Pick up some of your own speed.
deck feels kind of okay. Remember, if any of these knock my opponent's Nexus to 10, this will level up at the end and kill them. So yeah, you can see it shows Darius is leveling here and they're dying, so these blocks don't work for them. What's going on, Waffle? Well, I mean, and part of the thing that Runeterra does that great is they give you free cards that are relative, right? Like, you're not getting, like, Magic starter decks that have no useful cards in them in Runeterra. Like, you get, like, free copies of Ashe and Lux that are, like, competitive playable champions. You gotta remember here, this is their turn. We apprehended to get an attack on their turn, so I'm gonna just start next turn by opening attacks as well. Because it's my turn with the attack token now. My turn.
Our borders grow.
Alright, my deck did the thing again. It's convinced me to play it one more time. I feel one of the things that was neat about that set is, like, oftentimes Yasuo decks feel medium when they don't have Yasuo, but, like, we had Darius there and our deck felt good because we had Darius still too, right? So it's neat to have multiple avenues of payoffs for our stun cards. Lulu Shen. I'm supposed to mulligan everything but House Spider here, looking for cheap interaction. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Yasuo, though. I did. He did just run in and hit my arm. And then immediately run back out.
Off we go! Roll out!
Tradesies. No tradesies. This has elusive too.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
You're covered.
That's kind of annoying. How do I feel about burning Apprehend here? I kind of don't hate it. Next turn, I'm going to have 5 mana, which means I can play 1 spell. I guess if I save my mana here, I have 7 next turn. And then next turn, I have Concussive Palm plus Death's Hand. And then I can untap Encado. Yeah, maybe I'm just passing here and I'm just letting this this Bright Steel Protector fog me. That's the plan. Barrier is so good. This is one of the reasons why Lux is so great in aggro matchups too, because like the barrier just comes down, you're like, oh well, I guess I just don't attack this turn. I wanna go home. Hey! Aha!
The balance requires a watchful eye.
So, what's going on, Paragon? I assume you're one of my Magic regulars, so you're trying hard to understand what's going on. I would encourage you to install Runeterra for free on mobile or your PC and play through their challenges in their tutorial. They do a really great job of teaching you kind of the core game mechanics. You'll pick up infinitely more spending 5 minutes installing and playing that and then coming back and asking questions and trying to pick everything up just watching from the start. So I could Darius here. They don't have fantastic blocks. This is a 6/5. I think I like that. Just super resource efficient here as well. Playing this out now means next turn I'll have 7 mana and I can Kato plus Apprehend to be able to get decent attacks in.
With me.
Genevieve changes the dynamic here a little bit. The question is now, do I want to trade Darius for this? I think the answer to that question is probably yes, right? I think I'm okay with that.
The Legion waits.
Otherwise, they get to challenge him next turn, and then I don't get an overwhelm damage. We're kind of a medium spot because they're gonna have Laurent Protege be able to challenge something next turn with either a quick attack or a barrier. So the challenger can have up to 3 attack this turn. It's gonna get to eat one of these. Maybe just play Kato out. Everyone. They need to have some kind of combat trick in hand to make this big enough to kill Kato in combat.
My shield is yours.
Honor dictates both our actions.
Okay, so that means Kato can't kill Shen in combat because he's got a barrier to prevent damage on him.
Adventure time, you guys? What do you say, Glow? That's yes!
Play our Spooter out here as a chump blocker for the turn, because it makes a friend to go with it.
This way!
Hardly fair.
Oh, this gives 3 attack when it's supported. I guess that means these trade. That's still not great for me, though.
Now we're friends, Glow.
So this trades here. I think I'm just taking the rest of it.
My duty's done.
They're down to 1 card in hand. So I can Green Glade into Darius here, or I can Darius into Apprehend to rally. The odds of me leveling Darius this turn are really low. I could also go Green Glade into Fey Guide, and Fey Guide can make one of these elusive, and then I can crack them for 6, and then next turn I can Darius, and he'll be leveled, plus Apprehend. I think I kind of like that play.
Portal here's with me.
We'll try and kill them on their next turn by railing with the Apprehend Apprehend.
Feed Demacia.
Keep your head down, okay?
I might have riposte? Sure. What does that mean though? How does them potentially having riposte change my line of play this turn? I don't think it does, right? It's only worth thinking about cards that you should maybe play around if playing around those cards impacts your line of play. Is it crazy to just pass here? They're definitely gonna attack again, right? Because if I play Darius, there's a good chance they support Squirrel the Elmheart and kill him, and then I don't get to Apprehend. Yeah, S-Guard's super strong. Has Scout, so it gets to attack twice, and then has Challenger, so it can force things to block it. It's basically a double removal spell that also makes your team bigger the turn it comes down.
Back to the base. Can't fight on an empty stomach.
Look, friends! Over here!
Dead to riposte.
They are under my protection.
Could technically take a different line to like play around dying to exactly that, but I don't think we win this game. Do we? If I play the Mentor out Now, the Mentor just gets eaten, right? So, like, I have an extra blocker and I don't die to the riposte that turn, but I guess I get another draw. And maybe with 2 attacks, I win the next turn. My goal was to play Darius and rally that turn. And I don't think we have the tools to beat riposte in the long term regardless. I think the riposte was going to end up killing us one way or another. It was either going to stop killing one of their lethal things. Maybe with the rally it was good enough. If I play the 6/6 and don't die the following turn, I suppose... No, the following turn they'll have their riposte to kill my Darius in combat, and then I still don't get to rally anyway, so it just doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like, while there's some neat things going on here, overall, it felt like it had pretty typical Yasuo deck problems, which is that the cards that you have to play to try and meet the level up requirement on Yasuo tend to mean your deck is just like kind of individually low power level on average. Which means that if you don't have your key champions in play, your deck's just like not doing a whole lot. One card that has felt impressive in decks that I've played it in, but I haven't found a deck that I really love it in, is Fey Guide. Being able to give something elusive seems really sweet. I think there's probably a sweet Demacia deck with either Lulu, Zed, or both that play Fey Guide. Like curving either of these 3-mana heroes into Fey Guide seems really, really powerful. Alright, at any rate, we are going to do a second Runeterra deck today. We are going to poke at a different build of Mist Wraiths that's splashing Targon in a Nightfall theme for Diana. So I'm going to hit a quick ad roll, like everything's set up and flipped over. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with some Nightfall Wraiths. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.